23 years after a mass shooting in downtown St. Paul, we now know a major retailer is under growing scrutiny for selling guns that show up at crime scenes. Fleet Farm is already being sued by the state of Minnesota for not doing enough to stop straw purchases at its stores, including one of the guns used in the Truck Park Bar shooting in 2021.
And tonight, Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neal tells us why the corporation is also being closely watched by federal authorities.
It's a gun trafficking scheme.
That's a lot of bullets.
Tying a retail company to dozens of illegally purchased firearms.
There were telltale signs that were right in front of them.
The guns connected to crime across the Twin Cities, from a deadly mass shooting to a loaded gun ditched and then found by a child.
There should be some accountability.
And now new revelations about the business that sold those guns.
Gun dealer behavior and gun industry behavior matters.
It was a sobering discovery in South Minneapolis.
It could have been so much worse.
At the doorstep of the Norsing family home.
The gun is over underneath the basket.
Oh, okay.
This never-before-seen police video documents the traces of gun violence found by a 6-year-old boy.
Our son came in and said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I think that there's a gun in our front lawn."
He was like, "It's too heavy. It's too heavy to be a toy," I think is what he said.
It was not a toy. It was a 9mm Glock, and it was loaded.
Yeah, good thing he didn't. There was one in the chamber.
Police believe both the gun and the extended magazine were tossed into the yard after a nearby shooting overnight.
So there's 21 bullets in here, and there's that one, so
Yikes.
that's a lot of bullets.
We're very thankful that our child had the wherewithal to tell us about it, but the outcome could have been tragic.
Court records reveal that gun was purchased by a now convicted straw purchaser at this store in Brooklyn Park. And the Fox 9 investigators have learned this Fleet Farm location has been flagged multiple times by the ATF for selling a high number of guns used in crimes.
It is important to know how many crime guns dealers are selling in a given year.
The Brady Center is a nonprofit organization that is researching the pipeline from licensed firearm dealers to criminals. The nonprofit obtained these federal records through a Freedom of Information Act request and shared them with the Fox 9 investigators. On a real-world level, what does that translate into?
What it really tells them is that they are in this small percentage of gun dealers, less than 2%, that are selling the most guns recovered in crime with a short time to crime.
The records reveal 6 different Fleet Farm locations across the Midwest were flagged by the ATF after tracing at least 25 crime guns to each location. The letters also demand the stores hand over more detailed records.
Those guns are likely to have been sold with the intent by the purchaser to be trafficked or used in crime itself.
2 of those locations were here in Minnesota.
Right.
Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't surprise me.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is suing Fleet Farm, claiming the company's, quote, illegal and negligent sales to straw purchasers contributed to gun trafficking in Minnesota. How do you think that will feed into this litigation?
Well, you know, at this point, I wouldn't say, you know, that goes into strategy. I'll put it like this, though. It doesn't help Fleet Farm.
In a statement, Fleet Farm says receiving an ATF demand letter, quote, does not mean that a retailer has done anything wrong, nor is it an indication that a firearm was purchased unlawfully. And while the company would not comment on pending litigation, in court filings, Fleet Farm has denied the allegations in Minnesota's lawsuit.
Well, it's illegal to buy guns, it's legal to sell guns, but you have to do it properly. And I don't believe they did.
Ellison filed the state's lawsuit in 2022, a year after the mass shooting at the Truck Park Bar in downtown St. Paul.
What a tragic moment in our city's history.
14 people were injured, and 27-year-old Markeisha Wiley was killed.
This nightmare has senselessly destroyed so many people's lives in such a devastating way.
The ATF later traced one of the guns used in that deadly shooting back to Jerome Horton Jr., Horton was eventually convicted of running a straw purchasing operation in which he bought dozens of firearms for other people from stores across the Twin Cities metro. 24 of those guns came from Fleet Farm locations.
There were telltale signs that were right in front of them.
The lawsuit claims Fleet Farm disregarded, quote, blatant warning signs, like multiple purchases of similar handguns, buying sprees, and staggered visits to different locations.
They ignored them and sold guns to gun traffickers, and some of those guns hurt people.
Police records reviewed by the Fox 9 investigators reveal several of those guns ended up at crime scenes. A gun used in the mass shooting in St. Paul was purchased 8 weeks earlier from the Fleet Farm in Blaine. And the 9mm Glock found by a child in Minneapolis was bought 9 weeks earlier from the Fleet Farm in Brooklyn Park.
I'm afraid for our kids' generation.
As for the families impacted by the web of illegal guns, they believe this lawsuit is their best chance to force change.
It shouldn't be just as easy as walking into a retail store and being like, hey, I want that one, that one, that one. There should be some accountability.
The firearm industry has criticized the ATF for releasing any records on licensed gun dealers. But that's what makes the lawsuit against Fleet Farm so interesting. A federal judge ordered the company earlier this year to hand records over to the Attorney General, which could give us a rare window into the corporation's practices. For the Fox 9 investigators, I'm Nathan O'Neal.